Every superhero has an origin story. The hero harnesses their power, then find their purpose and overcome their greatest challenge. And in the fall of 2020, a trio came out of nowhere to shock the Fortnite world.
So let's shock the people.
Reverse 2K, the veteran, whose best days seem to be behind him.
That is how little respect Reverse 2K gets.
Day, the up-and-coming controller god.
Day is one of the best fighters of all time, if not the best fighter on the NA East region, in particular for controller players.
And finally Miro, also an up-and-coming controller god, who would go on to stand atop the world as one of, if not the best player of all time.
I got not one, but two, but three, but four, but five FNCS wins, make it 6 now.
Here's the story of Day, Miro, and Reverse, and the FNCS they shocked the world in. Their origin story begins just before the Marvel-themed Stark season, where they got together for one Cash Cup in Chapter 2 Season 3 and came in second place. Promising, except for one thing. They did not play another Cash Cup that season, but they got back together for Season 4 and it was pretty clear right away they had something special. Their worst FNCS qualifier or Cash Cup placement was 6th, and they seemed to be peaking at the right time with a 2nd in the final qualifying week and a 4th in their heat. So we knew they were on to something special, but it was hard to take them too seriously because of the depth of talent on the region. It was absurd.
This is arguably, or I'm pretty sure statistically, the most stacked grand final for NA East ever.
Take a look at this though. This grand final, you have 26 World Cup participants, 10 of which are FNCS champions, 4 of which are DreamHack winners in the recent times. Gives you an idea of the caliber of player that we're looking at.
Macwood, Zexro, and Calculator had won the last trio FNCS, Season X. Jack, Acorn, and Slacks were new on the scene, but were about to prove just how good they were. Clicks teamed up with Bizzle and Illust. AV, Shark, and Knight made up the formidable Xset trio. Kanata teamed up with solo World Cup players Creo and Bucky. Booga with Avery and Jamper, Scented, Edgy, and Commandment had placed first in Qualifier 1, a trio Cash Cup, and their heat consecutively, going into Grand Finals, and to many were the favorites. And finally, the godfathers of the region, Zate, Saf, and Stretch were at their peak of their powers. So, what was the setting for this titanic clash? Chapter 4 Season 2, affectionately known as Stark Season, was a second peak of Fortnite. The pump was back.
Oh, that feels good to have the pump back.
There was Marvel theme that had a new POI at Pleasant Park, Doom's Domain, and mythic abilities based on Marvel characters. And then Fortnite turned good to great with an incredible mid-season update.
This update is bigger than any other update besides new season updates.
That brought the now iconic Stark Industries onto the map, one of Fortnite's most beloved POIs. It came with a fall biome, a vault mega chest, and supercars. And along with Doom's Domain, which had taken over Pleasant Park, there were 2 power POIs on the map, and both POIs had teams jockeying for control. While many teams tried to claim what was widely considered the best POI at Stark Industries, it mainly came down to Scented, Edgy, and Commandment versus Booga, Jamper, and Avery.
It looked like they were going about even if not Scented and Edgy's team was coming out on top over Booga's team.
But this spawn fight was not meant to last, as Scented, Edgy, and Commandment made the decision early to go back to their original spot.
Scented, Edgy, and Commandment are going to go back to Misty Meadow, leaving Booga, Jamper, and Avery to have Stark Industries all to themselves.
Though given their skill and stature and nature, the spot Booga, Avery, and Jamper were not as dominant as people expected.
We've been asking more of this team because they've had it uncontested. Zate tweeted this: "The fact that Booga's trio didn't win every week of FNCS is crazy to me. They are effing horrible."
Meanwhile, Doom's Domain would become very heated before one team could claim it. Claiming Dooms would prove to be a test of endurance for Zate, Saf, and Stretch, starting off against the stacked trio of Bizzle, Dubs, and Mega.
You currently have Bizzle, Dubs, and Mega going head to head with Zate, Saf, and Stretch.
Bizzle would move to Sweaty Sands with his new team, but another team, Hart and his trio, would also contest them, and it became super toxic when Stretch tweeted this.
Embarrassing that a T1 player can say things like this with no repercussions. He goes on to say what I just said, but the original tweet from Stretch that he screen captured is Stretch saying, "Go F yourself at Hey I'm Hard. 0 out of 6 FNCS, horrible player. You should just quit the game. You moved to 0 ping to make $0. And then at the bottom he said, also, I'm glad Taken and Durant dropped you. What a waste of talent."
And getting a toxicity warning from Epic Games.
Yo, I'm not even trolling. I'm not even trolling.
What?
Listen to this. Due to your recent actions, you have been issued a competitive warning for toxicity, verbal toxicity, code of conduct violation.
He did apologize and faced no further punishment. And they were amazing when uncontested, with a first in Qualifier 2, a third in Qualifier 3, and first in their heat, so it was hard to imagine them finishing outside the top 3.
That is absolute domination when they are not being contested.
Meanwhile, Day, Miro, and Reverse stayed outside the drop spot drama, showing a flexible and adaptable playstyle in Grand Finals.
They dropped 3 different locations.
Reflecting how many teams had played well up to Grand Finals, the predictions were all over the place, meaning this would be the best kind of FNCS, the totally unpredictable kind. So, let's get straight into the first game. With his trio below Surge and struggling, Stretch makes an epic play.
Luckily for them, he is going to get the med kit off, so Zate's managed to stay alive here. Stretch is going to play for height once again here, but 50 damage below. They have to find some tags. Beautiful tags. It's payback time. It's on to Creo there. Stretch comes down with the drop kick shot.
Then another.
Continue to run the high ground. It's what they do best. It's height with pressure, and Stretch literally finds another 2-piece elimination right there.
Zunies takes height, then Zate and Saf.
They take the high ground, but we know Zate's team will not give this up easily. They will try and take it back if they can. They're chopping them out. Can they hold it? N-Pen goes down to Saf. Zunies takes down Saf, though. It's switching back. Zunies takes down Zate as well. Aspect is in this one, and Zunies is still up, and I think they've done it. I think they've dethroned the kings of high ground.
Scented tries for a height play in a final 2v2.
There it is. Now it is. It's Scented and Commandment versus Zunies and Aspect, and Scented still had a shockwave. He takes the high ground, but he gets knocked on the fall through.
But Aspect takes out Commandment and wins.
But no, the shockwave blasted out the 102. There's no way you can win the heal off. And what a big performance. A 12 elimination victory royale.
Into endgame, where Reverse gets an elimination.
And they're fighting their way up little by little. They actually find Elise right there through the crack in the wall. The single edit was an error, a mistake on their part. And nice job for Reverse UK to find a massive, massive impact elimination.
Then Day goes off.
As Zunies takes down Jack in the feed, so our first place team is still in this. Day comes through and Day does what Day does best.
Day continues his solo clutch on low ground as the Xset trio takes control of the game.
Xset, that was a bit of an upset, but it wasn't enough to derail them. They're looking so good up there now. Who can actually kind of contest this? Who's going to be able to come back? Because I'm seeing a lot of solo players right now, Monster, and I don't know who's going to...
And cleans up the lobby for the win.
How's it going to work out here? 10 eliminations for the trio. Bounces are coming out there, really trying to figure it out. And it's a pump shot up to the high ground. Niddle gets taken out, and Xset Shark manages to reclaim the height. What a sick, sick play to secure the high ground here. Knight goes in for the final shots onto P-God. They just wrap it up. Way to do it.
Taking the lead. In endgame, Xset is cooking again.
During this kind of session, Xset, the team that has been pioneering the low ground push to tunneling.
They do it every time.
Oh my gosh, that was a vehicle explosion there. So many teams are going to be collateral to that. The fire, the range, and all of a sudden now, yes, Knight's going to find one from that. Oh, that was like a sweet little surprise.
And the reason why we geek out so hard is because they invented this. They pioneered this. No one else does this. No one else was doing it, and you can see that.
Good.
Teams just don't know how to react.
So good.
They control everything on the low ground.
As Zate's team takes height, Booga, Avery, and Jamper finally make an endgame.
Now we have Jamper, Booger, and Avery beneath them. A phenomenal team, but can they hold off as Zate, Stretch, and Saf are on high ground?
But Xset is a juggernaut.
Xset literally controlling all of the lobby and forcing players back and off of their spacing.
God.
Back up Acorn here because they want the room to play with. It's another 2 eliminations now for Knight. Another one's going to tick over from Slacks. That's going to bring them up to 12.
Zunies and his second place trio push for height.
As we have 4 floppers here, Zuni's going for something we haven't seen much. We're going for the late high ground retake with the floppers. As Zuni's, though, down to 10 health, takes the flopper. He has to drop down, and there it was Saf. It was the God Pump himself. They're not that healthy now. This cost them a lot.
But Shark makes an insane shockwave play, taking out Zuni's and N-Pen as Knight finishes off Day.
Day manages to find his way to the final zone here, but he gets hunted down, and 2 players go flying from Shark. What a play. This is going to give Knight the health advantage. This is going to allow him to stay in the game right now. Zudis is coming back. That's a siphon. No, don't even eliminate him. He's smart.
That was such a big swing.
And things get wild.
He sacrificed himself for the greater good, but it was the greater good.
No
Aspect's
way.
gonna lose this. Aspect loses it. Exit wins again. They get back-to-back wins in grand finals in the most exciting fashion.
And AV, Knight, and Shark's lead becomes more commanding. Into endgame, Booga's team looks to keep their momentum.
At least has one member missing, so this is what they need to have their big game, and I know who that is. I've seen that skin coming through on low ground. This is your X-Set guys fighting from the low ground in the box, and I was right. Avery takes down Shark, though. It is just too much. They get forced up this hill, and right now, Avery, Booga, and Jamper are taking over the low ground.
As Avery is cooking.
Still in this monster.
Yeah, great game to break into top 10 as Edgy gets bodied right now by Avery.
Taking out Commandment.
Commandment got
Drops
Bucky.
down, though. There are so many big names in this. Bucky's in there. Booga falls now. Commandment takes down Booga. Avery goes around the edge. There are so many players.
Wow.
Reloads the shotgun. He doesn't have enough bullets to do it. Yes, he does. With the reload, he takes them all out.
And Acorn, Jack, and Slacks, in an act of foreshadowing for Season 5, win the game.
It's a bounce house. How is Avery still doing this? He falls, but a massive second place. And this is a new team jumping up out of nowhere.
And jump into the top 5. In early game, Reverse 2K is cooking.
When they work together, they are deadly. You can see they are in the thick of it, and now finally the patience plays off. They walk into him, and Azers gets dropped here. Well played for Reverse now.
At second place, Scented, Edgy, and Commandment go down early.
But Edgy and Commandment are pushed back. Can they hold on to it? Can Edgy hold up his duo mate Scented? He does it time and time again, and no! Our team goes down here on 91 points.
In endgame, Kanata takes out Reverse and takes height.
Instead of going for high ground.
But Bucky goes down though, so it's up to Creo and Kanata. They take down Reverse
And he closes out the game with his trio.
and get the eliminations.
There you have it. It's Zum once again as a solo stays alive. Talk about the clutch. The big clutch from Zum to get all the way to the final moments. And that's how the game's going to close out there. Still, valiant effort for Zum. 2 clutches in a row, and then Kanata take the victory.
And Day, Miro, and Reverse jump to second as the X-Set Trio's lead comes under pressure. Game 6 starts with a transformational moment as Miro takes out Knight.
As I talk about it though, AV or Knight there gets punished first.
And Day takes out Shark.
The crumble now. If it's 2 games where they get completely stopped, that's going to be terrible for their positioning right now. It's up to AV to clutch and no.
And Reverse completes the trio wipe as second place takes out first. In endgame, Macwood, Calc, and Zexro fry from height.
Tomorrow, but how far can they push it ahead as Macwood finds the angles and beams up these players? He has that epic assault rifle doing so much damage. Illusfil falls in the feed. Booga goes down. Eclipse, and oh my gosh, Macwood is just dropping frags on this lobby right now.
Here, plenty of placement points. Let's not forget that victory out is worth 25. That's what they're hunting for. Big Elim right there for Macwood.
While Reverse, Day, and Miro look for placement points to seize control of first. And the Season X Trio winners pull out the game.
Keeping his distance. It's a low ground fight. Up they go. The shockwaves, the crash pads. Calc with the clutch pump. Zextro with the clutch follow-up as well. Everyone wins their individual engagements, and Game 6 is won by Zextro, Macwood, and Calculator.
As Day, Miro, and Reverse are in first to cap off day 1.
Day, Miro, and Reverse 2K. 44 eliminations, 128 points, an almost 20-point difference from first to second place.
With Jamper, Booga, and Avery moving up to 6th. And Zate, Saf, and Stretch in a disappointing 16th. On to day 2, which was one of the greatest days of Fortnite ever. Starting day 2, Booga, Jamper, and Avery are contested at Stark Industry.
He has 1 shotgun pellet left. Booga literally has 1 shot. He needs to make this count as Avery goes down. Cease is pretty weak right now. This is very even though. Booga and Jamper need to go in. Blake gets in though. He has the health advantage. Takes down Booga and then takes down Jamper. No. Blake gets in and takes everything he needs.
And third place Scented, Edgy, and Commandment go down early after a desperate push for Surge.
They have to see that number on the right go to above. They need to do 154 damage, and that's why they're playing so desperate. They go into the box and the big shot, but Commandment's so low. He's literally 1 health. They're completely wiped. That's our top 3 team. That's our 3rd place team completely wiped off the face of this map.
Moving into endgame where Stretch is cooking.
Testing on the draw spot, they could make one of the biggest comebacks we've ever seen, and that's a huge knock right there onto Kraz. Stretch is going to go ahead and fill that up, and Kaz is down and out.
Then Saf makes a beautiful play on low HP.
Saf's got the legendary pump though, so if he has to work his way through the low and mid ground, he's one to be able to do it. And you see this right here. This is what I mean by them not being solo players. He doesn't even use his meds. He takes down Legend D, and I saw TNA, and my heart dropped for a second. It is Legend D, though.
And another.
TNA, where they can work the bottom as well as the top, and just like that, of course, Saf can.
They keep cooking, as Clix, Bizzle, and Illust hold height, and Miro and Reverse look for more points. The lobby clears out quickly as Zone goes up the hill. Kanata, Bucky, and Creo are cleaning up on low ground and take out Clix for their second win of the tournament.
Kanata's dropping the splashes though. He's not holding on to him. They're not going for the heal off. At least Kanata isn't anyway. I'm waiting for a bounce pad, but he has no build, and that's it. Clix goes down there. Bucky, Creo, and Kanata come back in the biggest way.
Straight to Game 8, where the broadcast puts Miro's dominance into perspective.
Then, as you can see, Miro was the first player to reach 100 eliminations and has more elims than any other player. This stat is referencing to this FNCS, showing that across the region right now, Miro is that guy.
Clix hits Day with a headshot snipe out of the back of a moving car.
So they don't just rack up their eliminations endgame like most teams do. And as I say that, what was that? Clix out the back of a moving car, I swear.
But they get him up. Then, Zate keeps the epic snipe train going.
It's lurking. He's already taken one snipe shot, and no, never mind. The timing on that. That was a pre-fire. Remember, snipers in Fortnite are projectiles.
Into endgame, Avery takes height.
And they still haven't played their trump card. They're still holding on to their shockwaves, and now they're going to use it. Now they go for high ground. When all the damage has been done, when height has been weakened, they're going to try and take it later. The shockwaves come out. Avery's got so many to try and do something with this.
As Day, Miro, and Reverse hang on for even more points. With the game seemingly in hand for Bugha, Jack makes a wild play.
Low, up to height they go. Jack sends them flying. Oh my gosh, they're out. They're in the zone. Bugha can't make it back in time.
In the chaos, Scented manages to revive Edgy and takes out Bugha on low.
That was such a cold play. And Bugha is going to deliver the siphon.
Then Jamper for the win.
Right now.
2v1. It's a 2v1. Someone from Bugha, Jamper, and Avery's team is still alive up above. Do they have the health advantage? No, they jump down. The big shot, though. Scented trying to go around the outside, and he does. Scented finds Jamper.
Scented, Edgy, and Commandment take second as Jamper, Bugha, and Avery move into the top 5. Into Game 9 with 1 bullet left and Avery down, Bugha does this.
I don't know, Monster. It's going to have to be pretty miraculous. It's gonna have to be
clap
just
back.
That, the 1 bullet. All you need, if you have 1 shot, can you make it work? And he does. He gets 4 and they're slipping. And it's because of moments like this where Bugha's on the walls right now trying to finish this. They need this loot. They have to win this fight. There is no running away from it. Jamper's on the low ground. Bugha's 1 layer above it. There it is. They wiped the full trio with no meds.
In mid-game, Miro takes out Knight while Day takes out Shark, as the XSET trio began to freefall down the leaderboard.
Rotate, they set up bases like this, and they set up ambushes. If they get a full wipe onto XSET twice, that is so massive. You have never seen this in any region, having the top 3 teams wipe each other twice in these big fights, and they do.
To endgame, where Stretch, Zate, and Saf are on height, as Saf gets an elimination.
Right here, though, Saf has to clutch up. He is going to get a lead.
And Stretch holds on to height, and they take the game.
Graska goes up. He doesn't see Stretch, though. He lets Stretch get the med kit off. No, all Graska had to do was shoot him a couple of times, and they could have potentially won that. Stretch has to go down now. It's a 1v1, and the 99 shot. That was so incredibly close. Graska almost pulls off the upset.
Day, Miro, and Reverse expand their lead, but this tournament was about to have a major shakeup. Day, Miro, and Reverse kept cooking. Even with low mats and without heals, they can pop off.
Aren't the best team in NA East, and no, never mind. Right now, they're proving why they're in the lead as Day just gets in on an entire team. When have you ever seen a team in a major region run through every other team with ease? We are now over 10 games in, and no one has been able to stop this team. No one has beaten them in a straight 3v3.
Mega makes a pretty snipe.
So that's the difference between then and now. It's a big knock's gonna happen here to Fop.
Into endgame, Bugha takes out Miro, and the rest of his trio falls soon after, opening the door for Scented, Edgy, and Commandment.
Oh, crazy, but that was so well done to survive that one. As here we go.
Miro's down.
Taking down Miro. There it is.
But they go down a bit too early.
Edgy and Scented going down. That is your 2nd place team. They needed this game so badly.
They've been hitting those critical hits. They've been buffed. Unfortunately, that last game going down in the in-game and not grabbing too many points.
And Riverson, Mega, and Dubs pull out the win.
But the team on low has to come up. Wait a second. Riverson's down. It's not looking good. Oh, no. The big shot, though. Well played for Mega.
Straight to game 11, where Day, Miro, and Reverse are pushed by Clicks and Bizzle and go down very early.
They have been so far and ahead. They're getting an average placement of 4th, and they're potentially going to go down here. Reverse falls. Day falls. Miro's the only one left. Miro has our elimination record in NA East, but this is going to be a task that surely is even too great for him. It's a 3v1. What can he do with the blue pump? Hits the big shots, but no, they fall down.
Enough.
Monster. That is our first place team. They are so far ahead.
Commandment and Edgy try desperately to close the gap to first, and it comes down to 4 solos before Calc hits a big pump.
This would be monumental for his team if he managed to do something here. Every player that goes down is more placement points, closer to first place, and I think he's done it. Commandment takes down Stretch. This is Commandment. This is your second place team in a 1v1 situation. He has to beat out Calc here. His team needs this. The whole leaderboard will shake up on this very moment. This is a huge swing, and no, Commandment falls to Calc.
And then suddenly things are very tight going into the final game. Commandment is doing his best to steal a tournament in the final game.
Every aspect of their gameplay here today, and that's exactly what Commandment needs to do, as Edgy has 1 elimination and that looks like 2, so they're closing that gap now.
But Day starts cooking.
He's going to catch up. Player was nearby. It is going to break out into a fight. It's Illis, it's Clicks, it's Bizzle, but Day's going to win that one. Illis, the fragger of the trio as well, is down.
But Reverse goes down as Miro fights for eliminations.
A player is down though. Reverse is down as well. How's it going to turn out? Knifer gets exchanged here, and it's someone in the box. It could be Tabs. Yes, he finds Tabs. Miro claps back once again and fully concludes. And now, as a 2-man team, the controllers, Day, Miro, the young gods have to rock it out with one another.
So can Day and Miro close out the tournament? Scented, Edgy, and Commandment aggressively push to catch up.
Here now, Scented is still on the rotate, still looking through, recognizes a weak build, trying to find a player. Yes, he's going to find some tags, some down bodies here. This could be perfect. Whoa, he's going to pull the body. He might be able to get some loot. This is going to bounce them back into the game.
Buck go down.
But Miro just got 2 eliminations in the feed, so Miro is clapping back as Edgy goes down.
Oh, no.
He goes down. Commandment Sensor and Edgy are out. They can't get any more points.
As Day and Miro pad the lead until Miro goes down.
Stomping through the layer, and yes, he's going to follow up. He's taking players down with them. Down they go. He's sinking with the ship. 22 HP. He's trying to jump through. He's still alive. Oh my gosh, with no HP. It doesn't matter. The knocks are worth it, and Day steps up.
Leaving Day to clutch, and he obliges.
And they're closing out the last game to really put the icing on the cake.
What an exciting way to close things out now, as Day is literally clutching for his squad. He's about to go up. He's about to show people what is all made of right now. He's got a couple of options here, impacts in hand. Bandage bazooka as well. He's going to jump into the mix though. Big 116. Can he get a follow-up here? Yes. There's going to be a player on the low ground, and he finally dropped.
As Zayt, Saf, and Stretch take the final win.
But they're in 7th place. This is a huge jump up for them. 123 points on the board. Stretch toe-to-toe, and he does. They win it. Zayt, Saf, and Stretch get their 2nd win of the day.
But Day, Miro, and Reverse shocked the region.
Here's your FNCS NA East winners. It's TNA's Day, it's TNA's Miro, and of course TNA Reverse 2K. 208 points. Not a single victory royale, 72 eliminations. Miro holds a record, and he can hold the record proudly now, as they have secured themselves as the FNCS grand champions of the NA East. They've done it.
Winning the first of multiple FNCSs for each of them. Scented, Edgy, and Commandment, after an incredible performance, began their streak of 2nd places. Booga, Jamper, and Avery placed 3rd in their last FNCS as a trio, and Zayt, Saf, and Stretch jumped to 4th after an insane day 2 that saw them start in 16th. And finally, Jack, Acorn, and Slacks gave the world a preview of how dominant they could be. Bruce Wayne said, "It's not who I am on the inside, but what I do that defines me." And aren't we glad Day, Miro, and Reverse defined themselves so epically? Thanks for watching, like, sub, and check out our other videos. If you want to know what happened in the next FNCS on North America, we put that on screen, alongside whatever YouTube thinks you like best.